All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today is March 6, 2024. This meeting is for our LJ real estate agents, and let's get started. So, our interest rates were hovering around 6.94 according to Freddie Mac as of last week. You guys can see the price range, or at least the 52-week range here. That the highest we hit was around 7.79 for Freddie Mac, and for our Mortgage News Daily, which is a little bit more accurate because it does it on a daily basis, and that interest rate is hovering around 7.03. Okay, so instead of coming down from last week, they went back up, and then since Monday, we started seeing them come down a little bit, right? The highest we saw Monday was around 7.15, and then they came down from yesterday until now another 6 basis points. So when you see these interest rates are around still 7, it does not make a big difference for our clients. Even some clients maybe saw the news 2 weeks ago and thought that the interest rates were around 6.65, right? And now they went up around 35 basis points from them. Your job is to let them know, hey, the interest rates are always changing. You only have to worry about this when you're actually in the contract, you're going to close, and you need to do a rate lock. This is when you have to worry that, hey, is it on that particular week, is it going up or down? But when you're really shopping around, still not sure if you're really serious, just know where are they hovering, where they're trending right now. So they're around 7%. Your FHA around 6.56. So there's some clients who will see this as appealing and they will go with that with FHA. There's nothing wrong with FHA loans, right? It's backed by the government. There's nothing wrong with it. There's been, many times where your listing agent will say, hey, we already have a conventional offer. You should tell them, hey, my client is still solid. They're going with FHA loan because they have to. Maybe one of the co-signers does not meet the guidelines, so they ended up going with FHA. There's nothing wrong with your FHA offers. Okay, they are definitely, your clients are getting a little bit lower interest rates, which is good. On the other hand, they are paying some upfront cost for this FHA. That's a negative thing. So there's pros and cons to FHA, but there's nothing wrong when you're submitting your offer with the FHA loan. Okay, but just know that there's factors when it comes to your interest rates. Those factors are your FICO scores, your credit scores matter so much, right? The better your credit scores, the better interest rates that you will get. The more down payment that you put in, so your lender knows that you're serious about this deal, you're putting in a lot, 20%, 25%, you're going to get better interest rates versus when you're putting 3% or 5%. Another factor is are you going to live there or not, right? Your primary residence. If it's going to be an investment, you're going to pay a little bit higher interest rates. Or how many units is this? Mr. Hassan, I'm going to mute you. You can unmute yourself when necessary. So next is going to be units. If you're going with a single family, you're going to get good interest rates. If it's going to be two family, you're going to get a little bit higher interest rates. Maybe another 10 basis point, 15 basis point higher. So the reason we're bringing this up to you guys should be talking to your clients about this anytime credit or your interest rate topic comes up. Hey, the interest rates are too high. Like, hey, there's so many factors that go into it, and you guys should break that down as we just did. Okay. Your inflation data is still at 3.1%. The next reading is going to be on March 12th, so we'll go through that when that time comes. So your clients, when they're looking at these Fed meetings, it's happening in March, and trust me, there's people who are serious about buying. They are more focused on these Fed meetings than some of these realtors out there. They know when these meetings are happening, where they're headed, if they're going to do a rate cut or not, because they're reading these articles. So I want you guys to do the same, so you guys be on top of your game. Okay, so if your client is thinking about purchasing a property, number one concern they should have is shopping with different lenders. They should be open-minded to going to different lenders and seeing what their options are, right? Just by shopping around with different lenders can give them an idea what type of interest rates they will get, what type of loans they will have. They need to understand their options. If they just go to one bank, they're usually going to give them guidelines for one or two different loans. But if they go to three different lenders, they will have many more options. They should understand the concept of mortgage points. Should I buy down my rate or not? Right? If the interest rates are around 7%, as we mentioned, why would I want to spend $3,000-$4,000 to buy interest rate down when I know that I'm going to refinance in 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, and I'm not going to get that money back that I'm putting in right now? So that matters a lot. So your client needs to know about mortgage points. Okay. They also need to know if it's an investor. Investors are fine with adjustable rate mortgages, right? Some of us, we always say as loan officers, to our clients, hey, if you're a first-time home buyer, we want you to have go with a fixed 30-year mortgages, so you don't have to worry about your mortgage being changed. On the other hand, if it's an investor, the person knows that I'm going to flip this house, I'm going to get rid of this mortgage within 2 or 3 years, right? Because I'm going to sell this house. So I'm okay with adjustable rate mortgages. Your client needs to know that those options are there. And if your deal is already under contract, this is where your clients are panicking. This is where they're looking at the interest rates all the time. When is the right time to lock in my rate? Right? There's no perfect timing. It happened so many times where you think it's the perfect time. The next day or even few hours later, you find out the interest rate went the other way around. Right? There's no perfect timing. But when the interest rates are trending down, right, even if there's a hint that the rate cuts are coming, right, it might indicate rates are going to cut. Your client, right, will go to your loan officer and do a rate lock. Right? We have seen this on the last meeting too. As soon as the last meeting happened, the interest rate dropped around 30 basis points. Every single day they're dropping maybe 10 basis point, 15 basis point. Around that time, around 30 to 35 basis points within few hours. Right? So your client needs to worry about those if you have a deal under contract. Okay. Next, let's look at your affordability here. This is an example of a client here making $125,000 in income. Their down payment is $65,000. They took care of their debt, so monthly debt is around $100. The interest rates we're using 7.10. We have your property taxes and your property insurance. So this family can purchase a house up to 667. Okay, 667 is their maximum price they can go. On the other hand, their mortgage payment is going to be $4,500. They might be okay with this, they might not. If they say no, I want to get a mortgage payment around 4,000, then the loan officer will give them a lower DTI, lower debt to income ratio. Okay. On the other hand, if they're looking, maybe you show them a house that's around $700,000, and then you go to the loan officer, hey, you said the client qualifies for 667. He likes this house for $700,000. Is there any room for him to qualify for this? Does he need to add another co-signer, or can you work with the debt to income ratio? That should come to your, when you're submitting your offer, the listing agents are calling the loan officer and asking these questions. So why not you as a realtor, when you're putting in the offer, you call the loan officer for your client and ask them the same questions. So you're prepared, what your DTI is or your client's DTI is. Okay. Next example is the same specs, but this family has $1,000 debt. Maybe they have two nice cars, right? And their monthly payment is around $1,000 collectively. So this family, everything else is the same. Instead of qualifying for 667, this family qualifies for 533. So maybe example for this client is that maybe you're showing them a house and you have a pre-approval, and you see the pre-approval for 667, and you're showing them a house around $700,000, right? You're already going overboard, and you did not know that they purchased two cars. And now they go back to the loan officer, and the loan officer says, yes, your income is great, 125 is great, but your monthly debt went up so high that you do not qualify for that 667 anymore. Now you qualify for 533. This client, in order for this deal to go through, they would have to get another co-signer. Okay. And this has happened with deals. So we want you to be prepared. So when you're putting an offer, hey guys, I know you guys are putting an offer now. Hopefully it gets accepted within 24 hours or so. But please, please do not make any big purchases when you're doing this application, right? Until you buy this house, until you have the keys. After that, you can do whatever you want. As long as you qualify, you can get another car. It's perfectly fine, but not until the closing. Okay. Again, this example here, guys, is for extra payments, right? Some of you guys are already homeowners. We want to advise you guys to start making extra payments towards your mortgage. You want to advise your client to. There's people who already, asking us as loan officers those questions, but as realtors, we should have some idea about this as well. So this example here, if your PNI, your principal and interest, is $4,046 here, and you decide to start making $500 payments extra. I know it seems a lot, but you don't have to make this every month, right? If you can make $500 payment extra, you can save about 8 years. So this mortgage, that 30-year mortgage, can turn into around 22-year mortgage, and it will save them around $275,000 in interest. So you want to tell your clients, once you have this property, start focusing on making extra payments. Contact your lender, contact your loan officer, and see how that 30-year mortgage can turn into 25 or 20-year mortgage by making extra payments. Okay. Next, guys, these are the headlines in the news. The first one is weekly mortgage demand surges 11% as more homes hit the spring market. And we're expecting this. We want to see more inventory. If we have more inventory, we can sell more deals, right? We can actually close more deals if we have inventory. The inventory is increasing a little by little, and different markets have different rates, but overall, it has going up a little bit now. The home prices, on the other hand, have still gone up, even though the interest rates are up too. So you need to have a real conversation with your client. Hey, if you're simply going to wait, you're going to end up paying more. There will be bidding wars. If you're prepared for that, that's perfectly fine, right? If you cannot afford to buy a house right now, it's perfectly fine. Maybe you want to have another co-signer, or your income will increase. That's perfectly fine. But if you have a steady income, you have good credit scores, you already have enough down payment, and you find the right property, why not go for it, right? Those are the conversations you want to have with your clients. And then you can see another headlines here for mortgage application volume increases for the first time in a month. We have seen that the mortgage applications were down. Why? Even you as a realtor are showing the properties. There's not enough deals are going under contract in the last month. So now those things are turning around, and we want our agents, all our realtors, to be prepared to serve your clients in the spring now. Okay. Next here is in your NAR research in 2023 here, about 23% of the first time home buyers, right, used a gift from a friend or family as down payment. There's different guidelines to this. There's different loan programs. So if your client asks you, hey, can my sister or can my brother or can my friend help me with the down payment? You should say the answer should be yes. There's so many loan programs that allows gift funds. So talk to a loan officer that can help you out. Okay, the answer should be yes. More headlines here. Housing inventory just hit as high not seen since 2020, and we have been saying that. Why most people are not selling? Because they're locked in at a low interest rate. They have no interest of selling. If they sell this, they have to buy a new property, and the new property interest rate is going to be today's market rate. So why would they want to give up that 3.5% mortgage that they have around COVID time? But guess what? Over the 2-3 years now, they're seeing that the interest rates are not coming down. I have to make a move. My family is growing. I have this 2 bedrooms. I need to move to a 3 bedroom or 4 bedroom, or my job is, switching me from this location to this, and I know I'm going to be there for the next 3 to 5 years. Why not make that move? So the interest rates are one thing, but their necessity is another. If they have to move, they will move, and we want you to be part of that. Another headline was that in February brought more affordable listings to the market, and we have seen that in Nassau and in Queens here as well, guys. Okay. Another article was here that can our home owners association, right, your HOA, can stop us putting up a sign for sale by owner sign, right? There's some restrictions depending on which area it is, but overall, if you're a homeowner, you have the right to put up a for sale by owner sign. You don't have to have a realtor. So this article came about because one of the neighbors was a real estate agent, and she obviously wanted that listing. Who doesn't? And what's the worst thing you can have? You can be living next door and you have a for sale by owner sign right next door to you. That would bother you as well. So that's why this article came about. But just know, as an owner, you do have that right. But guess what? Realtors also have a right to contact that owner and try to make that into your own listings, especially if it's your owner. That's like slap on our face. Like, hey, I can't get this listing. This person really thinks that he has 9 to 5 job, and he's gonna sell this house without me being a professional, me being a realtor, a full-time realtor, and he's not giving me this listing. Why not? But you want to take the action of calling them, finding out, hey, what's going on? I see this for sale by owner sign. Let me help you out. Let me see what value. Let me tell you what value I can bring to the table, right? Your job is to view the property without any judgment, without any, prices, negotiation, or any of that. It should be simply, hey, Mr. Owner, I feel like you think you can do my job. It's perfectly fine. Let me go take a look at the property. Let me be inside. Once I'm inside, right, then I can view the property, look at the condition, and then see if I have a buyer or not for them. Okay. All right, guys. Any questions, concerns, anything on your mind so far? Okay. Next, guys, this is for our team leaders. We have 3 team leaders. We really want you to, start forming even a bigger team. I know not everybody shows the interest of joining a team. They feel like there's not enough value there, or they're just not a full-time realtor, or part-time. They have enough going on, but you want to focus on the right people. So if you're a real estate, team leader, we want you to, lead your team. First, get to know your team personally and professionally. So even if you have one person on your team, 3 people in your team, contact them, see what's going on in their lives, right? Next is that once you start meeting them and all that, your goal should be that you want to stay professional with them. The next thing is going to be the storming part. This is where things do go wrong, right? You give them a lead and nothing's happening with that lead. If I'm a leader and I give you a lead, I need to know that you're going to be I can hold you accountable for that particular lead. What's the point of giving you that lead if there's going to be no movement on that lead, right? If the buyer is serious, they probably have another realtor, 2 realtors on the side, and you have no idea. So even if there's anything negative about that person, you want to be upfront and tell them, hey, I gave you this lead. Tell me what's going on with that. Okay. And then when it comes to your norming, this is going to be when you begin working towards your goal and having a team mindset. It should be that, hey, I need a helping hand. So Rupinder, you're a team leader. You're one of your team members are contacting you. You and they should have the same goal. Goal should be, hey, let's be under contract, and let's go under contract quickly as possible. Nothing can be overnight in real estate. Everything takes time. But our goal should be, hey, you have a listing, let's host open houses as much as possible. You don't want to host open houses? Perfectly fine. Let's get another team member and let's do something where our goal should be that, hey, let's be under contract. I know that one person cannot do it all. Maybe you don't have the time to host open houses, but it's one of those must things, right? So you have to take those actions and make sure that we can go under contract. And the last is you're performing. You want to make sure your team is performing. We're going under contract. If we're not going under contract, the reason I don't say closing the deals, because like we said, after going under contract, there's enough team members or even professionals, your attorneys, your loan officers, they're as hungry as you are for that deals to close. You did the hard part of going under contract, and then work on your next client and do the same exact thing. So you want to make sure that your team is growing. You want to make sure your team is performing. And if the team person or team member is not it for you, release them. Hey, I feel like, we're both wasting each other's time. It's perfectly fine that you go your way and I go my way. Okay? We have to filter out. Not everybody's serious about real estate, but people who are making the right amount of commission where they're making a living out of your real estate. And we have seen that within our team. All right, guys. Next is your social media, guys. I really want you to guys to, as realtors, we tell our loan officers to stay away from social media because of so many restrictions. But our realtors, we encourage you guys to have a social media account, and we want you to start posting different content on your social media. Okay, so you want to make sure some things to avoid as well. These are red flags. So you don't want to maybe throw in your schedule, especially if you're a female agent. You don't want to be telling, hey, I'm going to be at this location at this time or this house at this time. You don't want that. Protect your privacy and security. Any confidential information, you don't want to put that either. Any political, right now, Joe Biden and Trump, both of them are going to be the main candidate. So there's going to be so much different content for next until November. So much different content. There's going to be funny content regarding politics. They might be tempting for you to go ahead and share that. Don't, right? Maybe your next client is a true Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, and you might not be. You want to stay away from politics, okay? And obviously, you don't want anything that has to do with copyright. You don't want to post that. Any negative or anything negative content out there, we don't want that. We want you guys to really focus on, talk about, housing market, talk about new listings, talk about open houses, right? Anything, your neighborhood report, share if you want really memes, share only real estate memes. They might be funny, but you want to share anything that has to do with real estate, right? Couple of examples here. So this person here, she just put up a video. It says, I turned down a $1.8 million listing. So just that tagline is like, why would a realtor turn down $1.8 million listing? Maybe she has a reason for this, right? You have to click on play to find out. So content like this is perfectly fine. So this realtor here, she has her goodie bag and a basket with all this stuff in there, and she put it up for her client, right? Stuff like that is perfectly fine. From first-time buyers to first-time sellers. So maybe a guide to tell your clients, hey, you already bought the house. How about now you want to sell this house, right? Even people who bought it around COVID time, the prices already skyrocketed. They're already seeing some equity built, and some of them are already going to sell their property or turn that into investment and get another one. Okay. This one here, this one shows a lot of emotions, right? This could be your clients. So if you make any video on that nature, you guys can share that as well. Okay. You definitely want to update your profile with a nice headshot and with your bio. And your bio definitely should say you're a licensed real estate agent or a licensed realtor, anything those along those lines, and which area that you serve. If it's Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island, anything, you want to put that in there too. So work on your social media, guys, and improve it much as possible. Okay. Any questions on social media, guys? Okay. Next, guys, this is the stats. Around 41% of Americans plan to buy a house in 2024, right? So as realtors, when I see a stat like this, that means there's millions and millions of people that's going to be trying to buy a property in 24. All I need is about 10 of them. If I can get 10 out of a million of those potential clients, I can make a good living as a realtor. So your goal should be looking at this stat and then looking at number 10. Could I do 10 deals in a year? Right? You could be a full-time realtor doing 10 deals. Is that easy? Heck no. You guys know that. Is it possible? Most definitely. You could do more than that. Next is how much does it cost to move, right? Again, this is going to be real estate related. If it's going to be a 2 to 3 bedrooms to moving from Queens here, and if it's going to be locally, you're looking at least $1,000. So locally in here, national average was around 1250, but at least $1,000 to move. But really depending on how far they're going. So you have to find out the best thing to do for your clients is to give them some moving companies numbers. So because a couple of our agents, Daljit, Rupinder, ask for different content. So even on our ljagent.com page, we're going to be adding a lot more referrals for our plumber, electricians, general contractors, handyman, moving companies. So we really want to be that guide for your client. So anything has to related to that property for them to buy, sell, and anything along those ways, we should be that guide for them, referring them to good people, professional people who can get the job done. We never want to refer someone that we feel like they're going to do half-ass job. We want to refer somebody that's going to be doing, do everything professionally and be licensed. Okay. Next here, guys, is that there's a study here that more than 90% of the housing market is overvalued, right? Which means that some of these offers that you guys are putting in is above market value. And you guys are aware of that. And your client is aware of that. But to protect your client, with every offer initially should go with, hey, we're willing to give you this price, but we want to have a bank appraisal contingencies. Please do not waive these contingencies if you don't have to. You want to protect your client, right? If there's no other option and your listing agent says, hey, we have another higher offer without any contingencies, do you want to move forward? This should be on your client, but you should want to advise them. If the bank appraisal is lower, right? So you're putting in an offer for $500,000. The bank says this bank appraisal is 480. Now your client has to come up with that $20,000 difference if there's no bank appraisal contingency. So you as a professional, you're going to say, hey, we will give you this $1,000,000 or we'll give you this $1.3 million, for this property. No problem. But we need to make sure that bank appraisal contingency is in the contract. Okay. Next, guys, here, this chart here, you guys can see that in 2020 that your under contract pending sales skyrocketed, right? Over 100%. And now they're around 75%. So we're going to see this number increase in next months. So next few months, definitely springtime, you're going to see this chart go up. And again, we want you to be part of this chart to show that you're under contract with your clients. Okay. So if your client is trying to look for a property in 2024, you want to, be that guide for them, not just show them properties. You want to tell them, hey, if you're just starting out, you have no idea. First is that you want to organize your finances. You want to ask the right questions for yourself. Hey, is home ownership right for me? Right? Because the mortgage is a huge responsibility. You're taking a responsibility for next 30 years. Right? So you want to make sure that, hey, you are responsible. You can take care of your mortgages. If you can't, there's going to be a foreclosure and you're going to go through a bankruptcy or a short sale. It's going to have negative effect on you and your credit. So what are the best markets for the first time buyers? Maybe some of these buyers are initially started looking in Queens and then they end up in Long Island, or they started in Long Island, they ended up in Queens. Really depends on their condition, where they want to be. And last, obviously, is that can they actually afford to buy a house? Okay. For most, we said the down payment is their main hurdle when it comes to buying a house. Most people have that issue. And we mentioned we can help them out with different things. Most of them are confused about their loan options. Some of them even have no idea what options that they actually qualify for. They're simply scared to go to a loan officer because they feel like they're going to run their credit. Okay. You want to tell them buying a vacant land, right? Some of these people want to customize their house, but just tell them there are so many challenges that come with it. You can get a land today, but just to build it, it's a major, major headache, and you need a lot of patience, right? If you don't have a lot of patience and you're not able to wait that long, it's better to get a beat up property that needs renovations, and you renovate that one single family property and be inside that property within 6 months or so or less. Okay. So if you are an investor, maybe you are looking for a tenant occupied. If you see a tenant occupied, you want to have a conversation with the listing agent. Hey, tell me the situation for this tenant. What's really going on? Have they been paying their rent on time? When does their lease expires? Show me proof that they've been having making their rent payments, right? You want to protect your investor. If it's going to be a tenant occupied and they're not paying any rent, it's going to be a bigger headache for your investor. Okay. So next, guys, because we are always competing with each other, with other realtors out there, and there's thousands and thousands of us. So how do we stick out? You should have a conversation with your buyer when they're starting out. Hey, Mr. Buyer or Miss Buyer, my goal is to get you into your new home in 60 days. And we want to be really realistic about these 60 days as long as they're serious, right? You should be able to get them inside that property within 60 days. So the first 30 days should be just finding the property. And you might say, hey, Lucky, I have clients that I've been working with 2 years now. 30 days is not realistic. It is if they're serious. It has happened with, I can't say with every agent, but with enough agents where you can go and find a property within first 30 days. But you have to do your part. You have to set it up your goals that, hey, in order for me to find a property for them, I have to show them, right? I have to show them every week. And my goal is to show them at least 5 properties. Even if it's open houses, private showings, I have to show them 5 properties. I have to be there with them for 5 properties every week. That means within 30 days, you're going to be showing them at least 20 properties, right? You want to make sure in order for that to happen, are your KV Core alerts set up? Are you texting them new properties daily, right? You don't want to lose your clients. It says don't use your clients. Sorry about that. But it says don't lose your clients to open houses. How many times that happened where your clients are looking at a property on Zillow, they see an open house, they go directly to that, and you say, hey, I just lost my client. You're trying to argue with your listing agent, hey, this is my client, right? And they're saying, hey, why did you send them to an open house by themselves without your business card, without you telling me, hey, my client is coming? Everybody's hungry in this market, guys. So do not lose your clients to open houses. When you're submitting your offers, you can submit multiple offers. You want to have leverage, or your clients to have leverage. If you have multiple offers in, there's a chance that maybe 1 or 2 will get accepted. So if 2 offers get accepted, then the ball is in your client's court, meaning your client can choose, hey, which offer that they really want to go with, which property they really want to go with now. 2 offers got accepted. That's rare cases, right? Majority of the time, the clients are really, hey, we put in an offer. It's been 2 days. It's been 2 weeks. We're not hearing anything. But if you have multiple offers, you can, hey, we have multiple offer. Hopefully, few of them get accepted. You as a realtor, when you're putting in an offer, you need to know within 48 hours if my offer is accepted or not, right? If it's not accepted within 48 hours, there's some sort of issue. You need to figure out what's really going on. You can be upfront with the listing agent. Hey, do you have any direct buyer? Do you have any other offers that you have that you're not giving me a right answer within 48 hours? My offer is really solid. I'm putting in, 20% down, or my client is putting down 20% down. This is a conventional offer, giving you all those things. I need to know. Even if it's a FHA, I need to know. Even if it's a non-QM loan, I need to know within 48 hours if my offer is accepted or not. If you have to negotiate. But just make sure that when the time is passing, the deal is dying. Okay? So you have your offer accepted. We have seen where your two offers got accepted. And your home inspection needs to be done within 24 hours. You don't want to wait 2 days, 3 days for other offers to come in and you're delaying this. As soon as you hear offer accepted, home inspection should be done right away. Okay? Home inspection within 24 hours. Always recommend home inspection. You, as a realtor, never want to hear this, and we have heard this, where there are major issues with the property after the closing, and the buyer says, hey, realtor, you never told me about home inspection, or you said the market is so tough that I should just go waive this home inspection. You don't want to be that person. Tell them, I highly recommend that you do home inspection. If there's major issues, we can move away because that's the best thing for you. So again, you're being on their side, right? So make sure they get this done. If there's major issues, you move away, or if you do 2 home inspections, yes, it's going to cost you double the amount, but you can make your right decision. Okay? So who do we have for home inspection? We have Mr. Hassan here. So you can contact him anytime you like, and he can give you a quote for single family, 2 family to do your inspection. Okay? Next is the inspection report came in. You saw there will be no home inspection report where they say, the inspector says there's no issues. This is even if it's a brand new property, new construction, the inspector will say, hey, no, this is not installed in properly, or there's a mistake in here. That's their job. So you pay them, or your buyer paid them, so that home inspector is going to do everything right by that client. Okay? So if your home inspection gave you, a home inspector gave you that report, you're reviewing with your client, hey, what is really major in here? What do we have to really focus on? If it's minor, we're going to be fine with it, and move on. So let's say your client wants to move on. You have your contract coming in. You want to have your buyer sign this contract as soon as possible. We have seen where the contract just came in, within an hour or so, the buyers wants to sign the contract. On the other hand, the buyer might be a little iffy, like, hey, I don't want to sign it. But your job, if you got them to this point, is to have them sign this contract within 2 to 3 business days. Okay? You want to watch out for these phrases when you haven't received the contract, right? As a buyer's a party here, your buyer's attorney never received the contract, but the listing agent keeps saying the contract is out. He's like, where is it? It should be in the email. We should be receiving it within minutes, right? Where is it really out? Or your buyer already signed. Now we're waiting for the seller to sign, and the seller is on vacation, or the seller will sign Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, right? Different days all the time. Those are red flags for you guys. You already did the hard part of bringing them to this stage. Don't lose your deal at this stage. At this stage, we should be like, hey, let's make sure the listing agent, what's really going on? Did you guys send out multiple contracts? Did the other party sign? Let me know so we can make this deal happen. You have to be on top of it. If you're one of those agents who are not following up with the listing agent ain't going to say, hey, he's not following up, or she's not following up on this offer or until contract. I'm pretty sure this person is not going to be that serious trying to close this deal on time. Okay, so be on top of it until you hear that the seller has signed. Once both parties have signed, you have your FEC, your fully executed contract. Then your job is pretty much done, because like we said, other parties will take over. The other party, which is your buyer's attorney, is going to order the title report. The title report typically takes 7 to 14 days. You want to hear clear title. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for the title report, your loan officer, your client's loan officer, is going to start the application with that fully executed contract. From start to clear to close, we're looking at around 21 days. I don't care which company you're working with, even if you're working with us or elsewhere, our realtor should be calling their loan officer for that particular deal every week for an update. Hey, we went under contract last week. I know the application was done last Tuesday. It's been a week now. What's the status? Was the appraisal ordered yet or not? Was the title report ordered or not? You as a realtor should be just being that boss. Like, hey, I took you guys up to here. Now take me to the closing. So this is why our loan officers, when we get a phone call from our realtors asking about those, statuses, we know that these are professionals. So you should do the same. Okay. So once you hear it clear to close, you're scheduling your final walkthrough. You're doing that within 24 hours. And now you can rest assured that from day one until day now, 60 days have passed. So, if you're doing the right things, just by showing them the properties the first 30 days and the next 30 days for them to close, you can literally have them be in that new house in 60 days, right? But you have to do the hard part of showing them nonstop. Some clients do get exhausted and they say, hey, you showed me 20 properties. I like none of that. Get some feedback, see what they really don't like and see what they really like, right? So you know the pros and cons. So the next property that you show does not have those things. Okay. Next, guys, some of your clients will be asking for this down payment assistance program. So first disclaimer that this program that we're about to talk about, as LJ Mortgage team, as loan officers there, we don't have this option. But we want to tell our clients which options they do have, even if we don't offer it. Maybe they can go to another loan officer and get this option. So this program is called Home First Down Payment Assistance Program. So it provides qualified home buyers up to $100,000 towards their down payment or their closing cost for 1 to 4 unit family property. Right? So who wouldn't want $100,000 as down payment? So in order to qualify, you must be a first-time home buyer. You must complete the education. You must have your own savings towards your down payment, and you must have at least 3% down payment for your own. And your property that you're gonna buy, it must be in a good condition. It can't be one of those property where it need a gut renovation. It has to be in a living standard so you can move in there. Okay. You can get 1 to 4 units there, but it has to be in New York City. It has to be in the 5 boroughs. So if your client is in Long Island, this program does not work. For your income, so your 80% of your AMI, when you look at AMI, that's your area median income. So if your family size is just one, if you're just one person, you can make up to $79,000 and qualify. If you have husband and wife, 2 people, 90,000, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 8 people with 149 income. Okay, this is the link that I'm sharing with you guys. You guys can look it up, read up more about this, and tell your clients about this. Great. So you definitely need a counseling agency to be. Your client needs to contact them. So this is what I'm sharing in Queens for you guys. So first one is in Flushing, the second one is in Jackson Heights, the third one's in Far Rockaway. And they even specialize in different languages: Spanish for Far Rockaway, Jackson Heights for Bengali, Hindi, and Urdu, and for Chinese we have in Flushing here. Okay. All right, guys. So we have 10 minutes left here. This is another link. So even if there's other down system program resources, so this is the program. This website was shared by Mr. Ali many, I believe about a year ago. We have shared that before with you guys, but for new agents, this is the website, downpaymentresource.com. Okay. Guys, we are all professionals as real estate agents. So when someone calls you, they're expecting you to pick up, right? So when someone calls your telephone, you want to greet them and you want to be up about it, right? You want to seem very professional when you're talking to them, even if you're having a bad day, even if your mood is not all that happy. But when you're picking up the phone call, just be more positive when you're picking up. Okay. If you missed any call your clients back. If you missed any text, call them, text them back, even if some time has passed. Next, guys, we have a property for investors here in Leviton, listed for $310 here. It's $14,000 in taxes, 4 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, nice lot size here. And then I'm showing you this value, and I want you to start making a habit of doing this with your investors. So anytime you're sending them a property, send them geodata screenshot. Hey, it's listed for 310. The middle value for average value for this property according to geodata is 567. So you guys can see the potential, right, of how much money that can be made. So how are you going to so the point of this, when you're sending this to your client, so they can show some interest and say, hey, Claire and Tracy, show me this property inside. You guys sending me this link, I like it, I feel like the potential is there. Now let's go see the property inside and see how much work it actually needs. Okay, there's no other way of knowing it. You cannot know the estimate by just looking at the photos, so you have to show them inside. Okay, next, guys, every client, I'm checking on random basis because we have too many agents now and we have too many clients in the KV Core. So I randomly check, and I'll be surprised there's so many clients without any alerts. So please make sure that every alert is set up for your client and you're actually showing them, texting them on daily basis. So once you're in your alerts, look at these recent results here, see which one is the latest one that you want to send to them, click on it, click on more actions, send via text, right? You should be sending them every time you're sending them. Please make sure that you're adding your address for that property up front so they know which link is this for, and then click send. You should be doing this with your clients on daily basis. Okay, next question for you guys. If husband, their credit score is 580 and wife is 620 and both want to be on the mortgage, which credit scores matter? Any one of you guys, you want to take a guess? Which one matters, 580 or 620 when it comes to mortgage?
580.
580. No, he's cheating because he's a loan officer too. Right? 580 because 580 is the lower one. So simply put, whoever has the worst credit score, that's what the loan officer is going to ask. So if your client is saying, hey, I want to put both of them on the application, it should be fine as long as they meet the guidelines. But just let them know that, hey, if one of your co-signer have lower credit scores, your lender is going to go with the lower credit scores, not the higher one. Okay. So now, guys, you might have a client, right, that is an Uber driver or does 1099, right? Or it could be a realtor. So usually if their gross income is $100,000 and the net income is $40,000, before what I'm about to tell you guys, before when we were looking at their income, we were only looking at $40,000 because that's what we can use. But we have this new program for 1099 people where we can use 90% of this gross income, which makes a huge difference. Instead of 40,000, we can end up using 90,000 for this client. So you might have a borrower that says, hey, I'm an Uber driver, I make X amount of money. You could tell them, hey, as LJ here, we have a new loan program where we can use your 1099 up to 90% of your gross income. Okay? It makes a huge difference when it comes to qualification. So before, maybe they qualified for $300,000 property, all of a sudden they might qualify for $500,000 property. Maybe they want to add a cosigner. Now maybe they don't have to add a cosigner. So we have this new great program which will be really beneficial to your clients. So if they have any questions, they can come to us. Okay, they do need good credit scores, 620 or more. Their down payment at least 15%. We do need 2 years of their tax returns to show that they've been working. But this loan program can make a big difference to their qualification. Okay, guys, we have a few minutes left here. I just want to tell you guys that in 2024, if you want to close more deals, you have to build strong relationships. It could be with investors, it could be with your first-time home buyers, it could be with other realtors, other loan officers, right? You want to network with other professionals. You want to gain more knowledge about real estate, and you want to continue to learn about different markets and stay up to date. So, you guys, about at least we have 10 to 12 people that's joining live, and then we have another maybe 20 to 30 people watching this recorded. But there's still around 50% of our realtors are taking no action, right? To those people, until you take some action, you are not going to close any deals. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say this, but you have to be effective, when it comes to, your communication, knowing your technology, knowing your tools. You want to be the guide for your clients. You are not going to be that guide if you're not going to be taking these actions. So the people who are joining, watching this later on, you are much, much appreciated when it comes to this. Okay. Every one of you guys should be going to KV Core, going under listings, and checking out different areas on daily basis. This has nothing to do with your clients, right? You're not checking with your clients, see what's going on there and everything. You're only checking what's on the market. This should be done in your spare time. You should be spending at least maybe only 10 to 15 minutes. We're not asking you to spend hours on this, just 10 to 15 minutes going on KV Core listings, all MLS listings, and put in any area that you want. Even if you don't filter anything, the first page usually has 50 listings that are really fresh on the market. Just looking at that one particular page will be a game changer for you guys. Okay. All right, guys. If you guys need any open house signs, we have that available through Anand. If you guys need the post for your for sale sign, we have that link as well for you guys. Transaction desk, guys, I see more and more of you guys are using this, but just know that under forms that you guys can add any other forms that you want, right? Any other forms that you guys need to look at in your, right? Any forms that you guys need to look on MLS, any forms are available on One Key, are available in transaction desk. All you have to click on is click on add here and do just add the form that you're looking for. Okay. The training video, guys, is on ljagent.com on the first page now. For transaction desk, it's about 14 minutes long, and it tells you everything inside out about your transaction desk. Okay. All right, guys, we're running out of time. I have a few more slides, but that will do it from my end. Any last minute questions, concerns before we get going? Okay, and just guys know that we're very open-minded when it comes to feedback, right? You guys can send me a message later on. Some of you guys do that after the meeting, which is perfectly fine. I encourage you guys, send me different topics that you guys want to talk about, and most importantly, how can we close more deals? If we're not closing more deals, what's the point of having our license? So let's make it happen. Let's be under contract this year. If not this year, when? All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining. You guys take care.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys. You guys take care.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome.